Live from Italy, we welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where this afternoon we are set to do battle once again here at the Autodromo International Enzo e Dino Ferrari. Welcome to the show. My name is Oliver Bempel alongside Daniel Bouchard. We bring you all of racing action from round 3 of the Global Indycar Challenge. Of course, Daniel, this is one of the most famous racetracks in the world. It is Imola. The wall's never too far away. The speed's immense, and that blast all the way down to Tamburello truly going to be something to behold as we get 26 Indy cars ready to take off from Tuscany.
Tire shredder is Spa before this, or a weird shaped oval like Gateway, but it's still an interesting track. And Aqua Minerale and Indycars, yeah, I don't want to see how those things bottom out there.
Aqua Minerale going to be a big one to keep an out for tonight, as will the Tosa hairpin. That's going to be a big point, I think, of contention tonight. Of course, Rovazza, that double left hand, both right angle corners, going to be an extremely difficult series of turns for us here this afternoon. Don't forget the Gracina chicane as well. Not something you want to toy with at the top of turns 14 and 15. Well, we'll take a look at the point standings entering racing action here this afternoon. After the run at Gateway, Amon Law stands atop the points board with Johan Royer down to the number 2 spot. George Marquinez starts in third with David Veg closing out fourth so far. And overall, it looks like the Law's championship to lose. He's pulling away.
Yeah, but again, he didn't seem that much on the pace on the road courses, and that's what you need in IndyCar, is like to not lose so many points on the road courses, which is what happened to Royer and Marquinez. So you gotta be consistent on both forms of track, and that's what makes IndyCar so different to any other racing series there is.
Don't discount drivers like Dimitri Dennis as well, trying to put themselves up into the ring. Julian Altena sitting just outside of the 30-point bracket, along with John Christensen. Christensen had quite the ride last week at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. He is looking for more here this afternoon as we get set to take off for race number 3. So qualifying is in its closing stages as we speak. Several cars are still out there on the racetracks. Among those, you see James Haskell right now just starting his 3rd lap.
Yeah, qualifying at Imola is really important since it's really, really hard to pass with how tight this track is. So, again, I'm not used to much of the Indy cars on this track. I haven't really seen them race here, so it's pretty interesting. But from my area of expertise, which is the more sports car side of things, it is really hard to pass here due to how tight this track is, and you have to nail every single corner to get that track position that is oh so important in these cars.
James Esquel did not put a lap down on his first attempt. It did get invalidated. So you're right on board with him for the lap as he is desperately trying to get that lap in on the boards. He's got 60 seconds to do so. Should be more than enough time. His lap time is only being about a minute and a half here. Right now in one of the slowest sections of the racetrack. This chicane here, a critical one. Watch out for those anti-cut sausage curves. He's going to get the hammer down and fly up towards Rovazza.
Yep, those sausage curves. Thank goodness this isn't real life, because those have caused numerous back injuries in the Formula 4s here.
So 3-1 through the final corner and back out to the front straightaway as James Haskell going to take off towards the start-finish stretch. And it will be Haskell who will look to put in the lap time as he shifts up at a 6th. And it'll be good enough for 18th on the closing stages for him.
Yeah, this track is really hard to nail without going slightly just off and getting a 1X. It's very finicky, but with how tight this track is, you really need to maximize everything and not go over and get that 1X. So through Variante Villeneuve is one of the trouble spots, at least for me, but that might just be because I might be going slightly too fast into there.
Well, we got ourselves pretty much closed on up here with qualifying, so with that, it's time to take a rundown on what your starting grid is going to look like over the next 42 laps or so here this afternoon. As we take a look at some of these aerial shots over the Imola circuit, Start of the pole position this afternoon, it is going to be Johan Royer. Sorry, it's going to be, yes, Johan Royer up on pole position. So a good effort for him. He starts alongside Christian Hilgard for Fiercely Forward. Row number 2 then, going to be holding the likes here of Julian Altena for Velocity Online Racing alongside Pascal Whale for DG Racing. Row 3 with Jonas Faber for Writer Engineer Esports alongside David Vang for Sezi Esports Uni. From there, row 4 holds the likes of Javier Talavera making his first start in the series here this afternoon alongside Milan Volgojang. And closing out the top 10 here this afternoon, it's going to be George Marquinez for Champs iRacing alongside Liam O'Sullivan for VOR, Daniel.
In row 6, we have Umut Yachi and Dave Eck, followed by Dimitri Dennis and Andros Vinci. Not pretty good qualifying for either of them there, which that's a bit. Pim Gestel and John Christensen, who is, yeah, that was not a good qualifying for him if he wants to keep those top 8s in points. Jonas Schoberg and James Haskell following on row 9. And rounding out the top 20, we have Lucas Santos and Mathis Ottendries.
Lucas Santos unfortunately crashing out of the last IndyCar Series race he was at over at the Richmond Raceway after leading briefly. He looks for more this afternoon. 21st place it's going to be Jordan Dolan for Team Bean alongside Anthony Heitzma. From there, row number 12 going to be headed up by Andy Haynes and Juan Rodriguez. And then closing out the field, it's going to be Aman Lal, a heavy hitter in this championship with the current points leader. He did not put a qualifying lap down. He stands alongside Senna Bakovic.
I believe Aman Lal was sent to the back, if I remember correctly.
That would not surprise me. There was a lot of EOLs put into place and a lot of drivers that just opted not to qualify as a result. A shortened pace lap here as well as we start in Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, well, not that short of a pace lap. It's still a good half the track, so...
Not short of a full track.
Yeah, but it's not Spa's pace lap, which was like 2 corners. Or in Parks, which is exactly 1 corner.
Well, the iRacing pace car is set to rumble out once again, and this will be the only time we see this car out here on the racetrack. What do you think here, Daniel? Got any favorites to win this one?
Well, you can't go wrong with Johan Royer. He's been really good on road courses. He won Spa by like 20 seconds. It's not a surprise to see him on the pole. Ovals aren't really a strong suit, so he'll be able to probably... We'll see what happens tonight, but I think he's probably the favorite for tonight.
Well, the field is going to work their way around through turn numbers 16 and 17, if I'm doing... No, 18 and 19. As we'll get set to go racing here this afternoon. Johan Royer going to be starting his race from pole position. And he'll work his way out of turn 19 to 20 and 21 as he'll fight his way to the front straightaway. As always, Robbie, you're joining us for more racing action here on this fantastic Wednesday afternoon. It's a long hole for Royer. Got to wait for that green light to come on up at the head of the field. And well, it is just about time to get this party started. Lights come on. It's go, go, go in Italy. Good getaway from Johan Royer down towards Tamburello as he's going to fire into that opening chicane. Everyone else double file all the way back through this field. No problem so far. Umut Yakci had to start his race from pit road back in 26th, and now the rest of the field working their way into chicane number 2 of the afternoon.
Yep, down through Variante Villeneuve, it's really hard to stay too wide here. And I know that from experience due to just how difficult this track is to get right, and into Tosa.
Oh,
and
trouble! Big troubles as a big crunch at the tail of the field. Oftendries going around. Santos caught up in that, as well as Bakovic getting held up. Johan Royer leading the way still through Aqua Minerale. Here's a big battle pack firing their way down deep on the braking zone. Looking to get themselves sorted as well. And now Royer in to the Tosa chicane.
That's the Grassini chicane, actually, but...
It used to be Tosa.
Yeah. But very, very... Lucas Santos has no luck. That's really all I can say.
He really doesn't.
he really has no luck. I mean, I'm surprised he isn't calling for a change of broadcaster given how much he's been cursed by us so far.
Take a look at this opening crash here, and it was just a lock above the brakes for the 17, and around they went, and boy, a big ride for Santos as he almost got pitched upside down.
Yeah, it's really easy to miss your braking points into there, and that's from experience. I've blown that corner on the old version of this track so many times, it's not even funny, but it's very difficult. Again, it is one of the most challenging tracks in the circuit. And Amon Lal, that's a pretty good first lap. He's already up to 18th.
Pim Van Gestel in the pit road, Upton Dries in the pit road, as is Santos, as well. It was a lead of the first lap for Johan Royer. And now it's just the race for everyone else behind. Here's a big look to the inside as Dave Van Eck tried to go down the inside of Talavera. No dice, though, on the approach to Aqua Minerale.
Yep, and down into, well, you can't really pass Aqua Minerale. Being that it is such a difficult corner, and now here into the Grassini chicane, giving him just looking inside and outside. Wait, this is David Vey, that's different, but he's got colors on this car this time.
Well, to borrow a term from Slap Shoes, if I may, I mean, you can do it, but it's like doing open heart surgery with a broadsword. You can do it, it's not going to be pretty, though.
Yeah, and, well, you'll probably be a lot more worse for wear. Especially in these cars. I don't think it's entirely possible without breaking the entire suspension at the back.
Look for fourth place here as, oh boy, and off the track gonna go Pascal Weber, or Wayo, as Jonas Weber tried to go down the inside at Tamburello. Now a big block on Milan Vogelshank. Boy, a bit of questionable driving there from that number 76 car as David Vey going to take advantage.
Yeah, that's a brilliant move from David Vey there, just hanged around the outside of Weber there, or Vogelsang there, and just drove around him on the outside. That is tough to do, but he did it. And I think that it was a bit questionable driving, but it looked like he understeered into there. The dirty air in these cars is really difficult when you're going at the slow speeds needed into there.
It kind of caught the sausage curves, and I mean, that's going to happen, right? I mean, that's racing. He did kind of give it up, but then this is the one that I'm questioning, and that is a huge block on Vogelsang, who had to stab the brakes, or would have leapt over the left front or the left rear of that car.
Yep, if this is real life, that would be a drive-through. Very cut and dry there. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a drive-through for that. You just can't do that.
Further behind, a pass as Anthony Heitzma gets around Senna Bakoven for 21st place, as well as that Jordan Dolan. Actually, hold on, Andy Haynes off the road in the final corner. He's going to have to give up a couple, and look at the whole side pod is taken off of Senna Bakoven's car. Is that for the lap 1 incident?
I think it was. I think he was involved in that. Well, that's going to cause a lot of downforce. It could also just be iRacing doing its being weird. It does that sometime.
I mean, there you see the whole cow. Oh, whoa! And off the front again goes Haynes. Boy, there is something going on back here. It must be a full moon at the back of the field. Oh, in trouble! Couple of cars up on top. It's the Taco Bell machine of Dimitri Dennis. Caught him with Andres Vinci.
Yeah, something is in the air. that is, well, how is that car still driving? He was mounted.
Here we go, just lost the back end by himself, and then nowhere for the 58 car to go. Just rode up on the gearbox. Boy, this race is starting to kick off in spades this afternoon, and now back up to the battle for fourth.
Meanwhile, Johan Royer has already extended to a 5-second lead. So, again, and into the pits comes Hildegard.
Interesting. What do you make of this one? This is, I mean, it's interesting to kind of pit this early. He did qualify on the soft tire compound. You can kind of see very few drivers starting on the prime tires, most drivers on the options. I question the decision to pit only 5 laps in. Unless he's trying to pull a fuel strategy here and maybe want to get out of traffic.
Yeah, I think it might be fuel strategy. I think it should just be he wants clean air. These cars are really tough to drive if they're dirty air here, so that's probably why. I mean, we have another car. That's a damaged car, never mind. But he could. This is a long stop.
Very, yeah, and I think that long stop is kind of. I think it goes to show, right, that is not a scheduled stop. It is not a strategy call. There is something that was wrong with that race car. So we'll close back up. The fight for third now. Pascal Whale. Oh, boy, is behind him. Jonas Weber really jumping over those curves to try and chase him down.
Yeah, you don't want to do that in these cars. I'm surprised the suspension didn't turn completely into spaghetti there, but hey, it's a sim. It's not entirely real life, so yeah, props to these. And whoa, they're getting sideways there out of Ravazza.
Worth noting as well, by the way, Vale is on the slower prime tires. The cars kind of in a queue behind him are on the option, so he very much is a cork in the bottle here. There goes Weber again, trying to look for the inside. Just cannot complete that pass. So difficult to do. One driver that is going to complete a pass, John Christensen fending off Jonas Silberg.
Yeah, that's a very nice move from Christensen there. I mean, he's still ahead of him on Lal, but Lal's already up to 14th, so he's going to be running his way through the field to try and minimize the damage from that back of the field penalty.
And behind them, look at this move as the points leader trying to go down the inside of James Esquel, all the way down at the Tosa hairpin. And on the run to the Paratella, he could not complete the pass, but the points leader already on the good recovery drive, up 11 on the day. The car just behind him, Juan Miguel Rodriguez, up 9 on the day. They are the two biggest movers.
Yeah, and well, I think both of them had those back of the field penalties from last race and the chaos that was that. Anyways, on board with Jonas Weber here as he's just trying to find any possible way around Wild.
Trying to find a way to get through, but it is just so difficult to achieve that. As Weber continues to make tracks, and you can see how much he tries to close down. No push to pass being used at the moment. Oh, look out, though! Nearly gets into the gearbox of him.
Yeah, that is always real hard to do in these cars. The brakes on these cars are just, well, if you miss your braking point, you're probably going to go spearing off into someone because of how, well, wide these cars are. And, well, here we have a Monlaw just showing how hard it is to pass around here.
Looking left, looking back to the right, trying to send this one in the long way through the Villeneuve chicane and up to Tosa. Good defensive driver, a senior from James Haskell, though, to keep him on law behind him. That's no easy feat.
Yep, and while Tosa is now covered in gravel from that first lap incident, so it's really hard to go offline there and try and make a pass. There's only really one line through there now.
Back through Aqua Minerale. This track lacking a good chunk of the passing zones that we're used to seeing from the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps from where this season kicked off. But hey, they make the most of what they got, but it's such a tricky track to pass at in cars like these. But hey, if you can be brave enough, you can make it work. How about Milan Vogelzang trying to fight it out with Jonas Weber in the middle of Ravazza?
That was a beautiful pass, and well, that's David Ver, actually.
Oh boy!
Oh boy! You don't want to do that going into the first corner. As here comes O'Sullivan, he's going to get two for the price of one.
That is phenomenal from Liam O'Sullivan. Take a ride on board with him throughout this madness. He can see this coming into Ravazza here. And right on the exit of this corner, he's going to see that opening, Daniel, and he's just going to send her down the inside.
And a bit of contact there as well. That was almost Villeneuve and Arnoux there. With that contact and the bashing wheels. but he's just going to thread the needle and just go right up, and, well, he'll outbrake the Velocity racing car of Milan Vogelzang to the outside, and he's just going to go right on through.
Absolutely incredible, and it's not done yet as Vogelzang still fighting it out with David Veg while O'Sullivan is driven away from this pack, and now David Veg going to get around him for 6th into the Grassini chicane, and now for 3rd, Weber down the inside, finally gets past Pascal Weil.
Finally, that is a brilliant move, just laid on the brakes into Ravazza, and gets it done onto the exit onto the front stretch, which used to be a lot shorter with a chicane placed onto the front stretch, and Ravazza was slightly extended. And here comes Weil. He's going to actually, no, he isn't. That's just going to try and get out of the dirty air there.
Meanwhile, Marquinez and Dave Van Eck, 9th and 10th, they're going to exchange positions. One car off the road just in front. I think that was Javier Talavera that went off piste, and now trying to attack Milan Vogelzang. It may have actually been Vogelzang that went off the road as a huge lunge to the inside. We'll see the 9 car through for 7th.
Yeah, those lunges are something you got to do to pass here. It takes a lot of commitment to get past, and you've basically got to be ahead of the car on the inside if you want to pass here. And the dirty air doesn't help that either.
Tell you what, it may be a track that's hard to pass at, but that means that whenever we do get side-by-side racing like we've gotten a lot of in the early stages, it is genuinely thrilling to watch. And it's part of why I love these hard-to-pass tracks, right? I mean, there's still so much flow to them off the track as Marquinez.
Yep, it's very easy to do. If you put one wheel off, well, around you go.
Take a jump back. I wonder if he had some help. He's one of the drivers that is on the old primes, and oh, whoa! That looks like a hardware failure to me. That wheel turned dead left. Maybe the wheel recalibrated for a second there and sent him off the road.
I think it was him getting off the surface and the car just snapped on him. That can't happen.
I don't think it was. Let's run on board here. I'm seeing something completely different. Watch that wheel here. Right? Yeah, that's a wheel failure.
Yep, that's a controller disconnection there.
And given the fact that the throttle and the brakes stamped down simultaneously, yeah, that's the wheel recalibrating itself mid-corner, and he's lucky that he didn't go into the wall.
Yeah, but the good thing about the brake being going all the way down, well, hey, you aren't sliding that much, which, if I know anything about road racing, when you spin, use the brakes.
Umayakchi going to get around Anthony Heitzma for 16th.
Yeah, the battles over down the field are always interesting, and another thing about this track being said, we have another car spinning up ahead.
That is Jordan Dolan, who took a brief slide. Looking like kind of
a full 360. It looked like a full 360 from the little I saw.
He's going to keep things rolling. Checking to the fight for 9th. Haven't talked about this one much as we've been all focused on the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on. This is John Christensen trying to keep going as Solberg behind, along with Marquinez, Lal, and Rodriguez all in the fray. Now, this is John Christensen, who may have cooked those option tires because he is slowing down everyone behind him.
Yeah, he did this at Spa as well, but he was able to keep the field behind him by just driving defensively, and that is really difficult to do in these cars. And, well, look behind him. He's going to try to get some breathing room here as, well, here comes Marquinez, likely on the push to pass there.
Marquinez going to look for the inside into Tamburello, clears one. Oh, he takes the front wing off of Solberg. And looking like he's going to get it back on, but looking like a bit of a cheeky chop across the nose.
It's really hard to tell from that angle, but yeah, that happens. He was directly in the blind spot of him, probably just didn't know he was there, and or he's using crew chief from the spotter isn't entirely correct. Well, cool. Yeah.
Well, that is a chop and a half right there, if you're asking me.
Yeah, and well, if that was real life, that rear wheel would have been completely punctured. So, iRacing's contact detection there, saving Marquinez a little bit from that. But yeah, that's not what you're supposed to do. In the Series I Official 4, that would be a disqualification immediately for both of them. But that's because we have an incredibly hard no contact rule in real life.
Well, the fight continues on. I will say, IndyCar racing does tend to be the kind of, Rubbin's race into the open wheel world, doesn't it? I mean, you look at how harsh of the sports like Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1 can be when it comes to contact. IndyCar is like, is the car pointed straight? Did he go spinning? All right, have at it.
Yeah, that's the thing, and well, that's
part of why I love it.
It's love as a spectator. It's not really fun if you're in race control, and I can say that from experience.
Oh, and I'm sure our race control could say the same after last week's race at Gateway, or last month's race at Gateway. Meanwhile, John Christensen still trying to fend off Marquinez. Marquinez on the inside of the second chicane, not able to complete it. Maybe the Tosa hairpin going to look for the right inside, has to stab the brakes. And here comes Amon Law. Law going to try to capitalize. He goes down the inside of the Tosa hairpin, and no move across the board going to be successful.
Yeah, the Tosa hairpin is now covered in gravel from that first lap incident. So it's really hard to get traction really anywhere now. So that's one of the overtaking opportunities pretty much gone at this point. Oh, a bit of a twitch there. Hey, at least these aren't the IRO5s, so they can, actually turn right correctly now.
Marquinez
And this is coming from
trying to chase down Christensen just in front. There it is, push the pass. He is enabled. He is looking to make the pass this time by on that straight. And that should honestly be a pretty easy move to make.
Never mind, we're back. Yeah, but that's a really easy move. That's like one of the only area on the track you can really use to push the pass, because it's corner after corner after corner after corner. It just doesn't stop. There's not much of a place to have a rest here.
Not much place at all, and if you're going to use the push to pass, you better make it on that initial straightaway. As you see, Dave Van Eck also complete a pass on Senna Bukoven, and how about this? Oh, we got problems for third. Jonas Faber is off the road.
And Weil, I think, was also off. I think there might have been contact there.
I'll take a look. This was the battle for third place here. They're kind of all separated here at Aqua Minerale, and he just lost it by himself.
That is so easy to do there. If you just touch that inside and unsettle the car, you're going sliding. And it's really impressive how he was able to keep that thing going somewhat straight and not completely 360ing around.
Oh boy, and Weil just barely slipping through there. Saw the hole and went for daylight. Meanwhile, Law still trying to attack Christensen now that Marquinez is driving away.
Yeah, and Amon Law up. How many is it now? 16 spots?
15. This is going to be 16 here.
Oh, right, because he started 25th, not 26th.
So Law is through. Christensen not wanting to let him have it easy, but he's going to be forced to lift out.
And Johan Royer is now just casually 14 seconds ahead, so yeah, he's got to be not surprised. He's really good on road courses.
Meanwhile, Bukoven and Heitzma, 17th and 18th. Teammates here, mind. So I'm not sure if they're going to be too keen on going at it. And, man, I mean, that side pod still flapping around in the wind. That's got to be something you got to get fixed, because I imagine that is doing no favors for the aero of that car.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't have a meatball, because, well, that thing is on its hinges and it could fall off at any moment, but I don't think iRacing's damage system works like that. Which, yeah.
Meanwhile, Milan Vogelzhang opens up the door on Jordan Dolan, makes a pretty easy pass into Piratella.
Yeah, passing into Piratella, that takes a lot. I think Dolan just let him have it, because, yeah, Vogelzhang's a lot faster. He was up there, but, well, he spun, I think, or no. He was running down.
And he's also on prime tires behind, whereas Jordan Dolan's options are going to be wearing down by now.
Oh yeah, they'll be completely cooked by this point. So, but you're going to want to go to the end of that fuel tank and make the swap as soon as you can. As this isn't a long race, it's probably going to be even shorter than Spa was.
nearing the halfway point already this afternoon, and while we've seen a few drivers come down for stops, we have seen most of them stay out. The drivers that have been down for scheduled service are Volkeljang and Dave Van Eck. They were 7.7 and 7.9 respectively. And then, of course, other drivers came in earlier, but more for damage repairs more than anything. Right now, out of the 26 cars that started this race, we got 22 still on the racetrack, and 20 of those are on the lead lap.
Yeah, Lucas Santos, you got to feel for the guy. He just has no luck, and that's really unfortunate because he seems like he just seems like such a good guy, but he just keeps getting involved in messes not of his own doing or just making untimely mistakes. But hey, at least he's on the lead lap still.
Still on the lead lap. Fight is very much not over for him, as there is Johan Royer. So, well, he's on the lead lap, but it won't be for long. Now, of course, it's not like it matters, right? Because there's no cautions at a road course race like this, so should be all well and good. I am still watching that right front cowl. I mean, that is not looking ideal. Problems with Altena here.
I think he might have just gone wide and had to do a slowdown there. That looked like a slowdown to me.
Altena dropping out from second place. Whoa, nope, that's a full-on spin that he had.
Yep, so easy to do. Just catching one of those curves and around you go.
Those anti-curves, I have a lot of opinions on those curves. I mean, personally, I think that sausage curves should be banned globally because of the amount of, they're more of a safety detriment than they are, you know, actual safe. I mean, look at the amount of airborne crashes, rollovers, or just other extreme wrecks we've had as a direct cause, and even driver injuries as a result of that.
Constant back issues. It pretty much ended Abby Eaton's career. So, yeah, at least she has those, that crazy Holden Commodore thing that used to be a Group 3A touring car in the UK club racing, but has now been fitted for wings. So, it's not exactly historically accurate anymore.
Julian Altena coming down to pit road. Following that moment, maybe he'll figure now, well, now's as good a time as ever. Go for the undercut, get out of the battle. Try to jump these guys on tires. I'm anticipating about a two-stop race here. It would not surprise me, honestly, based on how Spa went.
Yeah, but also if Royer can make it to 21, I think he might do it on one, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, if you can go 21 laps, then you're definitely making it on the one-stopper, no question.
Yeah, especially since, well, the tires, they seem to be kind of equal here. It's not that much of a tire shredder like Spa. It's still a tire, like, tires are still going to be an issue, but it's not going to matter as much as here comes everyone in.
That is Jordan Dolan from 16th who will come to pit road. Johan Royer currently working out of Ravazza, and yep, he is in.
Yep, so it's around 17 laps you can do on fuel, so seems like it will be a 2, possibly 3-stop race. If, well, I'm not mathing correctly, never mind.
No, 3, definitely not. If you have to make a third stopper, that means that you forgot to fill up fuel on your second.
Which has happened before. We saw it at Blazing Pedals where a guy just did a tear-off during his pit stop and ran out of fuel, and it's immediately after.
It's rare, but it happens.
Yep, did that look like fuel only?
Nope, it was tires. He is on. He's on option. He took on fresh primes, or fresh options. Sorry.
The animation is not very visible from this camera angle.
Yeah, most drivers are going to be taking tires and fuel here. Remember, a tire swap is mandatory. That is a compound change is mandatory. So if you started on options, you must run at least one stint on primes and vice versa. Now, it doesn't say that what you can do... I think what a lot of drivers are going to do, and what I would do, honestly, if the options are good to go this long and are that effective, just run the whole second stint on options, and then prime tires for the last splash and go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's very interesting. I seriously wonder how Circuit Gilles Villeneuve will be on the tires. Boy.
Hold on. The 23 car, James Esquel, just jumped Solberg in the pits.
Yeah, I don't think that Schoberg's going to have to drop back here because he doesn't want to cause the space-time continuum to rupture from being inside of the car.
Pascal, half a second quicker in the box, 1.1 seconds quicker on pit road, and that is how much of a difference that makes. Now, Soberg's got a lot of time to make up on the racetrack as a result. Here comes Pascal Whale in pit road.
Yeah, Pascal Whale. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's German. I'm not particularly good at German, and Johan Royer has already retaken the lead, so... Yeah, it's Johan Royer's race to lose, but as we saw at Spa, well, it isn't a drop it on pit exit here, so... Sorry, Jorge Martinez.
Interestingly enough, oh no! Pascal Ware... Okay, interesting. So he has taken fresh primes. He was on primes initially, and he's taken primes again. So he thinks the prime tires are the way to go, and normally I would disagree, but I mean, if he's been running third with them this whole time, I mean, he's got to have something in mind. I'll tend to get around Weber.
Weber gonna get...
Oh, sorry to cut you off. Big squeeze out to the left there.
Yep, and, well, that's what you got to do to get by here. It's very common in the tracks I like, such as the street circuit in Trois-Rivières, Quebec, which is a lot like this. It's very tight, very hard to pass, but you can pass. You know, unlike certain other street circuits in Europe.
Well, the battle for fourth going to remain a hotly contested one, and this is, I think, the one to watch for now. It's the only group of three. Other battles include Veg and Vogelzang for seventh, and there's also Eck and Talavera for ninth. We'll check in on those if anything comes of them, but oh, that's going to be a slow enough for Altano across the road, and he's forced to give up fifth.
Yeah, it's so easy to get slowdowns here. I mean, I'm dreading running this GR86 later today. I'm just dreading that, because that car, you want to take as much curb as possible in that thing. And, well, that's going to be fun. Not. My poor safety rating.
Javier Talavera continuing to go at it with Dave Van Eck. No look that time by Amon Lal into pit road. And Lal will now drop back, and that I do believe will wrap up. That will wrap up our first official pit stop run of the afternoon. The next driver expected in, Milan Vogelzang, who short pitted the rest of the field by about 8 laps.
Yeah, so he's probably going to have to make a wait, no, he won't. Never mind.
Nope, it's still a 2-stopper. He just pitted early on the first stint.
I do not like when they go too wide in open wheel cars there. That just... it's stressful enough in a GT3 car or a one-make car, let alone these things. We were so easy to just spin the tires and go around.
Yeah, Javier Talavera making great use of the options, though, to make that pass around the long way through turn 3. So he is going to keep on keeping on. And that leaves much of the battles in this race effectively settled for now.
Yep, it seems like it's going to settle in, and when we get to the final stint, well, the first and final stints tend to be the ones where pandemonium breaks out in this series. At least that's how Spa went. So the middle stint was always the one that was very calm, which, well, as calm as an IndyCar series on iRacing can be. And Johan Royer, yeah, this is his race to lose. He's got a 30-second lead.
Halfway home this time by Johan Royer leads the way. Pascal Weil up in second place, a 30-second gap up to Royer. Jonas Weber down in third. From there is Liam O'Sullivan and Julian Altena to close out the top 5. Close battle on the racetrack between Veg and a hunting Milan Vogelzang.
Yep, in the Volati racing car. Bit of an understeer there through Variante Villeneuve there.
Yeah, a bit of a kick at the tail end. They're able to gather things up. And, well, Vogelzang, he will continue to have himself with a good, solid drive. Right now, Vogelzang up 1 spot from where he started down in 7th. The big mover on the day. Of course, it is still Lal and Rodriguez up 14 and 12 respectively, although they are sitting still outside of the top 10.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be, for the championship, a battle between Lal and Royer, as they're both experts on the different types of tracks here. So really, it's going to depend on Indianapolis, I think. It'll come down to the 500 kilometers at Indianapolis later this year. And whoever finishes higher of the two of them will pretty much win the championship. It's a two-horse race at this point.
Meanwhile, Weg and Vogelzang, 6th and 7th between the pair. And in fact, Vogelzang, I think, got pushed to pass, turned on here as he is trying to make that drive. No dice. Vogelzang still forced to sit behind.
Yeah, you're going to want to be alongside there. If you're not alongside, you're not making the pass. It's that simple, and that's why I love this track. You've got to work for each and every position. There's no easy passing spot here.
Hey, you
can still pass here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can pass, but you know that when you made that pass, you have earned that spot.
Oh, yeah, and that's sort of my favorite track. A lot of the more classical style tracks in Canada here in real life are a lot like that, like Mosport, which on the sim is a lot harder to pass than it is in real life, because, you know, that stand dates back to before my dad put it in the turn 3 tire wall. He was the second last person to do that before they paved the runoff there. So there's a lot more space to work with. On the sim, well, it's still grass in turn 2.
George Martinez having a black flag come out of this car, and I think he may have just hit the incident limit.
Probably. It's very easy to hit the incident limit with how much of the track you have to use to make lap time here. So it's so easy to get those 1Xs right there.
Yeah, clipped the grass once. He may have gotten a recover, but then that cut across is what did him in. So Martinez is going to be forced into pit road to serve that, and that should promote Lal into the top 10.
Yep, it is a long trundle down pit lane here. And, well, that's one of the worst parts of this track is that pit lane trundle.
Meanwhile, battle for second. Pascal Weyer trying to fend off Jonas Weber as the 76 to the 21 scrapping it out. This is for the second spot on the podium.
And while on those prime tires, and then you have Weber on the options, which is very, very different tire strategies here. I'm surprised Weil didn't go with the options, but I guess if you're able to hold the position, and well, Weil missed the first 2 rounds, so he's not in it for the points championship. He's just here to finish.
Weber continuing to pile on the pressure. Will he use push to pass this time around? He is well within the slipstream. Kind of got a little bit settled at the outside of Ravazza, and he will not be using the push to pass, so he'll close up with the draft. He will not be close enough, though, to have the lunge into turn 2 at Tamburello.
Yeah, I love this track. It is one of my favorites. It's a track that suits pretty much every type of car, from Indy cars to endurance racing to Legends cars, because yes, they run Legends cars around here in real life. It is so much fun to watch the Italian Legends Championship, because they go to all the great tracks in Italy, like even Monza, which, if you're on the Legends Road Cup, please come run that. We're running the Monza Grand Prix layout this week. That's going to be so fun. Not for my safety rating, of course, but who cares about safety rating? Anyways, still, but it works for even Legends. Oh, so easy to do that when the car bottoms out there.
A big snap on the on the exit of Acqua Minerale. And now out of Grissini, headed back towards Ravazza. Still Weber piling on the pressure while running those prime tires, struggling to keep him at bay, but doing a good enough job for the time being.
Yeah, he's doing a real good job, and it's really, really easy to defend here. You just got to hold your line, and, well, I think Weber's going to use the push to pass here, and if he doesn't, he's probably saving that for the third stint. I think he's saving push to pass.
He may very well be, but the problem is he is only losing more and more time up to Johan Royer. And I mean, already to the point where he'd be having to close over a second a lap. So maybe he's just accepted that, hey, maybe a second is the best I can do tonight unless Royer has a problem. And while all this was going on, Umayakchi made the pass for 15th on Jonas Solberg. And this was this pass coming into Ravazza.
Yep, gives him the fake, and down the inside he goes. Textbook.
Beautiful overtake there. I mean, just sold him the dummy. And now, still that fight for second is tight. David Veg and Milan Volkozhank also closing in on the approach to Piratella.
Yeah, this track ebbs and flows, and you're never too far away from the guy in front of you. But with the dirty air in these cars, it's very hard to tell. I mean, Aqua Minerale, you bottom out there, so it's so easy to spin, as we've already seen today.
Jordan Dolan with a black flag. He'll be forced to the pit road. We'll look at what happened to him in just a moment. But I think we might be about to see a development here in battle for second place. There's the look. There's the dive down the inside at Ravazza. And just like that, Weber is through.
Yeah, that's absolutely textbook there, but Weber's going to have to switch.
Contact behind. The battle for sixth comes to blows as Volkozhank collides with Veg, and good sportsmanship lets him right back through.
Yep, that's fair play to him. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you should do. It seemed like he just got loose there or clipped the curb too much, and well, hey, that's what you got to do. He didn't lose too much time, so that's good at least, and that's what I like to see. If you do that in our series, if you make contact, well, yep, just simple. He just slows and lets him back by. That's what you're supposed to do. That's fair sportsmanship.
I applaud that, right? I mean, that's not something you see all that often on the iRacing service, and in fact, he is going to go off the road again. But yeah, good sport there for Volkozhank to allow David Veg back through. I think what that does do, that really solidifies this. Like, hey, I'm sorry, that was not my intention. My bad.
Yep, that's what I do if I ever make contact with someone in my series, although it really depends. If it's, if it was a racing incident, then I wouldn't, and that was a racing incident, but also just, anyways, unfortunate Jordan Berlin here. Let's see why he got that black flag. I'm going to bet he drops a tire off or spins.
No, just locks him and goes in hot.
So easy to do that with the downhill braking zone there in these cars, and no ABS, no traction control, and so much power to those rear wheels. Yeah, there's a reason I'm up here and not down there. And in comes Altena.
And this will be for his final stop of the afternoon as well. So he was on the primes, pits in from 5th. And curious to see if he's going to switch back to the options. I think he will switch back to the options. I mean, why not? You got less than a stint to run? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, switch to the options. No reason not to.
Yep, it's very equal on the tire strategy here. So, unlike Spa, where the options really only lasted 2 laps before the fall off was so immense, here the tires are basically like the options are so much faster, but they do equal out after basically towards the end of a stint. So there is a lot of difference though in that early bit.
Well, Volkozhank pits as well, except he remains on the white-ringed prime tires. John Christian goes on options.
It's really just personal preference at this point, because whatever tire you feel more comfortable on, if you're not racing for the win, just bring the car home, in my opinion.
Meanwhile, Anthony Heitzma in a battle with Lucas Santos, as Santos trying to run him back down for the Scrooge Moose Motorsports crew. Half a second back and trying to close. This here, the tightest battle of the track, and it is for 18th. Oh no, Christensen is out, and he has crashed.
Probably dropped that. Let's see what happened there.
Take a look back, find out. Oh!
Did he money shift it? How do you money shift in a sequential?
That, I think there's more to the story here. Let's jump back. I have no words. But, okay, so here's my thought. You saw those lights, right? You saw how much that car was pinging off the rev limiter. I don't think he might have shifted. I think he overheated.
That is genuinely impressive.
I've never seen that before in my life. I don't know what else it could be. I don't know. I'm not like an Indycar mechanic expert, but I don't know what else it could have been other than overheating. I mean, that has all the hallmarks, like if you're running those temps hot in a stock car and the water temp gets too high.
Yeah, but these cars are, again, they're water cooled. So, and like, unless you're bouncing off the rev limiter or it could have also been hardware, like his shifter wasn't working or something. That is so weird. I once again chalk that up to strange and unusual incidents.
It wouldn't be a Green Flag TV broadcast if you didn't see something funky taking place at one point or another, right?
Yeah, that's paranormal activity. I'm convinced that engine has just decided to give up the ghost for no reason whatsoever.
5 for second, 6/10 between them. Haskell and Dave Van Eck for 12th and 13th, separated by 4/10. Why not? Let's ride on board with Dave Van Eck here for a lap or two. Let's take in the sights and sounds of Imola. Well, there's the move made down the front straightaway as Dave Van Eck got up and around James Haskell. And while that was going on, Jonas Weber, the second place runner, has been black flagged for hitting the incident limit. This is how.
Yeah, here we go. So just coming down at Aqua Minerale. Probably going to get the curb here or a little bit.
Oh my gosh! What? Okay, so a little bit more than a black flag is what takes him out of the race.
That looked like a 90s kart incident that would have been fatal. Thank God this is a sim.
Oh my gosh. Runs over the back of one of the Velati cars, who just stops. He just parked it right on the apex and then cartwheeled up and over. And up into the catch fence. Nearly cleared the ballpark with that one.
Thank goodness this is a sim.
On board with Pascal Wire, who had the best look at this.
How would you like to see this happening in front of you? As the famous Ken Schrader once said. Or no, that wasn't Schrader, that was someone else. But still, how would you like to see that happening in front of you?
I have no words. I mean, this is insane. I mean, it just stops. Let's ride on board with Weber here and Hang on, this is going to be a wild ride. Watch the lap car in front of him. Why would you stop like that? Why would you stop like that?
I'm at a loss for
Was he
words.
trying to let him by?
You can't let him by there. It's basically impossible.
He was turning into the racing line. I don't know. Why would you just parked it on the apex? I don't understand.
Well, someone's definitely getting a back of the field penalty next time.
And I do believe, Daniel, that is our first flip of the series.
No, I think we flipped at Spa.
Did we?
Yeah, I think, or no, we didn't. Never mind.
No, we did not.
Which was impressive considering that it's Spa.
Right.
Anyways, in comes Johan Royer. It's his race to lose. Unless he screws this pit stop up, he's got it in the bag.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Johan Royer into the box, and I mean, heck, he might very well be. He's actually going to get out of pit road before Pascal Weyer can even pass him for a second.
Yes, such a big league. Such a methodical, hitting every apex, running his own race. And, well, sometimes that's just what you got to do. You got to run your own race. And if you're faster than everyone, that's what you do.
Take a look at this here. This is again with that incident for Weber. You're going to watch them enter. There they are, stage left, and then hopped up, crunched down. Then the car is going to dig into the gravel trap as he flew across the infield, barely slowed down, and big time into the catch fence. And then lands right on top of the roll hoop with the arrow screen.
Yeah, if this was real life, that would be a mythical sport ender, as they say. Which is probably why these cars don't race here in real life.
And you might say, some people might say, Reze, oh, why do they got fencing all the way up there? That is why. Right there. That is the exact reason. I'm willing to bet that had that been a real world crash, I'm willing to bet the catch fencing would have done its job just as it did its job here. I mean, it would have flexed a heck of a lot more than this one did, but that's why the fencing is there. It's for that exact reason.
Yep.
I mean, heck, we almost saw Yuki Tsunoda clear the ballpark when he flipped over in this very corner, not this very corner, the very next corner in qualifying earlier this year. Now around the outside for Van Eck.
Brilliant pass. That was edge of your seat stuff there.
Oh, that's not what not quite looking for that one. This is the one we're looking for. Take a ride on board with Dave Van Eck as he is going to go around the outside of Tamburello.
Comes in here, hits his brakes, and, well, Yakshi gets just a bit loose, and, well, he sees the opportunity and, well, just goes around him, just like that.
Good racing there from both drivers, left each other plenty of space. That was awesome. Meanwhile, Javier Talavera down to the pits.
Update from John Christensen in the Discord chat. He says his engine had been overheating before the first lap. That's an iRacing glitch.
Well, Van Eck now in a lone battle with Umut Yakchi. Yakchi, remember, has not pitted yet on this cycle, so as impressive as the pass it was, unfortunately it was not one for overall position once you factor in the pit stops as well.
Yeah, it was still in a very impressive pass, and, well, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
It's been a great race. I mean, there's not been one lap where there hasn't been something going on.
Yeah, might not be a great race for the win, but it's a great race nonetheless. It seems that this series has a bit of the case of the mid-2000s Formula One here, where just one guy runs away at the front, but everyone else is scrapping for every other position.
Well, more cars are continuing to come down to pit road. David Vegg is in right now. Second and third have yet to stop. O'Sullivan has yet to stop. Oh, no, sorry. O'Sullivan actually just out of pit road, right in front. So O'Sullivan is going to be on primes for his final stint here of the race. Vanek, Yakchi, Talavera. 3 cars in a battle pack, but once Yakchi comes down to the pits, it's going to be between Talavera and Vanek. And in fact, there goes Yakchi. So now Talavera's got 1 second to run down Vanek with, and he's got 7 lap pressure tires to do so.
Yep, apparently we have figured out why Christensen was overheating at the first lap. Apparently he left the qualifying radiator setup on. So the radiator is at 70%.
Oh, no.
Well,
oh dear, that'll do it. Of course, those cars, right, when you have those qualifying radiator setups, they're designed to get that car as slick down as possible, because it's only meant to run 1 or 2 laps, but you run 36 on it, yeah, you're going to have some problems. Oh, Lucas Santos now with a black flag for the incident limit.
yeah, it's a tough race for him. I mean, the 4X in the first lap certainly would help, but it's so easy to rack up incidents here with how much of the curbs you have to use. It is so tough.
I don't think there's been one race this season, or in the Classic IndyCar Series season for a matter of fact, where he's had a really good day. I think the only one that would really come to mind would be the opener at Phillip Island for CIS, but of course that championship still saw him caught up in a lap 1 crash. He did finish within the top 10, but you know,
yeah,
he started up in the top 10 too, right? So it's a small consolation. Here we go.
Sometimes, here we go, teammates.
Rodriguez and Martinez side by side down the pit straight. Look at all the room they're giving each other too. They want to not risk any type of contact here. Martinez makes the pass, and now Altena has got Weil breathing down his neck.
Yep, here we go. Wiles on these softs and Altena isn't, so here we go.
Oh, that's brave. Brave lunge, but they're able to wrangle it together. Now Weil trying to get back around him on the run down towards Vatsa. This is going to be a fight around the long way. Altena trying to hold him to it, and he's forced to lift.
He got squirrely on the brakes there and had to let out of it.
Oh, Lucas Santos, same as Christensen. He may have done the same thing.
Yeah, apparently it's just a smidge too hot to run the radiator a bit higher than they normally do, so I think he might have been on 65% there instead of 70.
And he's going to be slow on the left-hand side of the racetrack on the approach towards Vatsa, keeping it well offline. He is trying to nurse that car back to pit road. It is on fire, though.
Yeah.
This is around the time where you've seen most spotters are saying, hey, just stop and jump out, like find a marshal post to stop at. But, of course, there's no such worries to worry about here in the sim. Santos will pull that car into the pits and get it off the racetrack.
Yeah. Also, apparently you cannot use qualifying radiator setups in the race.
Wow, who would have thought?
Yeah, but apparently, yeah, it's just a smidge too hot to use the radiator settings you'd use at like literally any other track, which I mean, it's Italy, you should expect that. It's Italy in the summer. You should expect that. Anyways, Johan Royer has, well, he's won this race, unless he absolutely bins it, which...
Don't say that!
Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna shut up now from that part, but...
I managed to get through a race yesterday without a commentator's curse because the High Tide Racing League went caution-free. I'm not tempting my fate tonight. It's the first time, and I think... I can't remember the last time I've gone through a race without cursing or jinxing somebody or something. Besides last night. I mean, it may have been the first.
2 nights ago. 2 nights ago.
2 nights? I don't follow.
Yesterday was Tuesday.
Listen.
High tide's on.
Listen, it's been a long Canada Day, okay? It's been a long day.
I get it. I get it. I stayed up until 2 a.m. without realizing it.
Oh, that's just me on the regular.
Yeah.
Sleep
But,
at
I mean,
2,
you worked
up
in
at
the-
7 with the sun.
Hey, I don't get up until like 12.
Well, you got a better sleep schedule than I do, apparently.
No, my sleep schedule's still absolutely screwed up.
Okay, well. My solution is mid-afternoon naps when I get the chance.
Yeah. Anyways,
Anthony Heitzma now with the black flag for the incident limit. Boy, they're dropping like flies this afternoon. And like you say, very easy to pick up an incident point here for the off-track 1 exit. Did you see all that AstroTurf on the outside? You take too much of that, and it'll give you one. So, I mean, it's just such a fine line to toy with.
yep, and that's what you have to deal with in real life with track limits as well. Like, at least this is a lot more forgiving than that. Anyways, Dave Van, the push to pass. Let's see if he gets alongside here.
Oh, easily gets along. Oh, maybe not. I thought he might commit to it. But I think the defensive block from Liam O'Sullivan keeps him at bay. Reactivates it. Sullivan still goes defensive. And Veg did not shift to 5th. He kept it in 4th. And forced O'Sullivan offline. So he wants the spot, but he's being careful about it.
Yeah, it's because of how hard the pass it is here, discretion is the better part of valor. So basically you want to get the guy into a mistake, so just crowd his mirrors, he'll probably make one.
So David Veg still trying to chase Liam O'Sullivan. They will take 3 laps to go. This time, wow, we got one car off the road there. Who the heck is that? It's just kind of parked. That is, that's Bakoven. Whoa, and he's just lost it again.
He's definitely got a meatball. There's definitely a meatball or something. Something's not right with that car.
Slides into the gravel trap. He's able to gather it up. This was the initial incident. Coming up.
Too much, or I'm predicting too much curb here.
Fires in. You called it. Ooh. Oh, he does tag the wall. Oh, that's why he lost the rear wing. And it kind of snapped on. So while iRacing is showing the rear wing is attached, based on what we just saw, how that car snapped coming down the hill, I'm willing to bet it doesn't exist. That rear wing is gone.
Yeah. Or it could also be the suspension.
Maybe. Yeah, good point.
But yeah, iRacing's den model can be weird sometimes.
Especially with open wheel cars, right? It's a bit more predictable on the stock car race side and even on the GT side of things. Open wheel is just...
Well, I mean, if you can keep going... In real life, you wouldn't be able to keep going after that.
Clearly you haven't watched Prototypes go racing for a good while. Oh! And there goes the battle for 4th as David Veg goes spinning around.
So easy to do that.
Well, Talavera and Martinez with 2 laps to go. Battling it out with 0.4 of a second between them. All the while, we are getting set to kick off the final lap of racing action here from the Autodromo Enzo Dino Ferrari.
Oh!
It's hard to believe that already 41 laps have just flown by us.
I mean, yeah, it's only a minute 30 around here, so yeah, it's not unexpected. And wow, Royer's lapped up to 6th.
Final lap of the afternoon. As you see this battle for 9th and 10th taking the white flag. As well as that, you got Julian Altena and Liam O'Sullivan. That is yet to be decided. But there's the look. Talavera fending off Martinez. Martinez trying to find a way through. Tries to make that look through Tamburello. No dice. Maybe has a run at him into Villeneuve.
Up through Tosa here. looking around, just trying to find that traction. Not going to work. He's right in the dirty air, and it's really hard to get that car turned as well. Here's the Royer coming up towards Grassini. Absolute domination.
He has led every single lap of the race. On the final pit stop, he got out before Weil could jump him for second. Lapped up to 6th place, and Johan Royer set to dominate once again. He works into the final couple of quarters. Julian Altena and Liam O'Sullivan going to go side by side into Tamburello. That fight we'll check on in just a moment. Meanwhile, Johan Royer comes home. He wins in Imola. The fight for third is still tight as well as Altena trying to keep O'Sullivan at bay.
These are teammates, and they're racing like they aren't.
Talavera and Martinez going to come across 9th and 10th. There will be no change in position between them. A great job from Talavera to fend off a charging Martinez. Now Altena through Piratella. Can he hang on for another half a lap? Up over the rise, Liam O'Sullivan taking a lot of curbing. Was that too much? Doesn't look like it. He's still pushing. Into Grassini. Right to the gearbox. Not able to get there in 15, 16, 17, and now 18 as Ravazza. The final 2 break zones of the racetrack. Liam O'Sullivan might need to get this with a good drive off the corner. He backs it up just a little bit, trying to get the lunge through. Does he have enough to go and get around Julian Altena? Closing with the slipstream. Not going to close quick enough. Altena hangs on for third.
Yeah, those were teammates. I was expecting that. O'Sullivan probably just backed off there. Didn't want to crash both of them out.
What a race this afternoon. That, frankly, was stellar.
Yeah, that was one heck of a race. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Time flew by.
And there is the Grid and Go virtual coach number 99 of Johan Royer, securing a very dominant race win today.
Yeah, he looks to be a threat for the championship if he can figure out those ovals. Because it's probably going to be him versus Amon Law for the title come Indianapolis in a couple weeks' time. Next up is Iowa. That'll be interesting as it's the shortest track on the schedule and also the most different to any other.
Johan Royer absolutely crushed it at Spa, taking a win by 10 seconds there. His second win of the season while he DNF'd at the Robike Technology Raceway. And he is going to take that car to pit road. Well, with all that said and done, let's take a rundown of your official post-race results here this afternoon. And what a solid drive it was as Johan Royer comes home number 1 ahead of Pasco, while Julian Altena comes home third alongside Liam O'Sullivan in 4th, David Vegg in 5th, Milan Volkoshang in 6th with Juan Lal in 7th, Dave Van Eck in 8th, Javier Talavera in 9th, and George Martinez rounds out the top 10.
In 11th is Juan Miguel Rodriguez, followed by Umut Yakshi, James Haskell, Jonas Schoberg, Dimitri Dennis, Jordan Dolan, Senna Bokoven, Anthony Heitzma, Andres Vince, and Lucas Santos. And everyone after this has DNF'd.
21st place, it's Jonas Weber along with John Christensen, Matthijs Optendries along with Christian Hildegard, Andy Haynes, and Pim van Gestel will all fail to finish racing action tonight. Well, a wild race we had here this afternoon, and we're going to get the chance now to give a chit-chat here to all the drivers that come home at the end of the night. As we'll talk up first and foremost, your race winner here this afternoon. Taking win number 2 of the season, it is Johan Royer coming home at number 1 this afternoon. And boy, Johan, complete and utter domination this afternoon. Absolutely crushed it. Does it get boring being at the top of the mountain by so much?
Thank you, first of all. Yeah, I mean, let's say that it was like don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but it would have been better if Christian didn't do the mistake behind. I still need to look what he did, but yeah, it looked like the tight qualifying and then probably a tight race, and that would have been like a lot of fun. And yeah, sorry for him, and yeah, I wish he was there.
Well, you're still able to pull off a very solid race win this afternoon, and with Amon Lal having problems this afternoon, set to retake the points lead as well, exiting round number 3. Half the season is already by us. 3 races to go. This one, though, dominated mostly by the ovals. There's 2 ovals and 1 more road course to go. I know Gateway wasn't ideal for you. Do you reckon Iowa's going to be better?
I have literally no clue, even though Gateway, it's like fully my mistake. I think I was on the right strategy. I think I could have maybe not won, but do like a top 5 or top 4 easy. It's just I wanted, yeah, I just lost the force feedback in the straight and I hit the wall, so yeah, I don't think I could have done there.
Well, of course, Iowa may be next, but the final road course race takes us to the Great White North, as we'll be racing at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Dan and I were talking a lot about tires this afternoon. Do you reckon you can pull off a similar strategy to take a win in Canada?
I will see for the tires. I didn't, like, to be honest, I started practicing 1 hour before the open of the session, but I think, yeah, Imola was the worst track, like, road course I'm like fast on. I think Gilles Villeneuve is one of my best track ever on iRacing, so I will hope for competition, and yeah, I will try to maximize the results.
All right, well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we return to racing action in 2 weeks, and for now, congratulations on taking win number 2 of your season.
Thank you. See you.
Johan Royer comes home number 1 for the Grid and Go crew. And, well, Daniel Bouchard, that might be all we've got. Not seeing anybody else coming on up and giving us a chat here this afternoon, but a great race this afternoon. I think by far the best race we've had so far this season, and frankly, one of the best IndyCar races we've had on the road course all year here on the channel.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race. Lots of differences. Pretty big strategy. I mean, the win, it wasn't really a race for the win, but it was a race. Oh, Julian Altena's coming up here.
Ah, there we go. We are going to be able to get a chat with one more here. We'll bring up Julian Altena, and Daniel, I'll pass things on down to you.
That was Julian. So that looked like a bit of a struggle of a race for P3. How did you manage the chaos out there?
Yeah, I kind of threw it away there a little bit. It was right in that phase where you're getting a little comfortable with the car and, you know, talking to your teammates, and it's just a little distraction. And I was telling Liam and John going in, like, focus on the race. And what did we do? We didn't focus on the race, and I just spun around. So, yeah, completely on me. But I think Pascal would have got me anyway, because his pace on the last 2 stints was much better than mine. We were actually running the same or a very similar setup to Johan, because Liam was working with him and the Reiter guys, which was a nice development, I should say. Came up here today to race, and Liam said, "Oh, we got a setup." So yeah, it was pretty cool. It really exposed how awful I am on tire management on road courses, though. I know it's a struggle of mine, so it's something to work on. But yeah, still pretty happy with third. Shouldn't really have finished there considering the mistake. Although the pace was good enough to finish there, so I'll take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, decent enough.
So next up we have Iowa. What are your thoughts on Iowa? It's very different of an oval to the rest of the ovals we're running here. It's the shortest track of the season, so should be interesting to see what happens. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I usually like Iowa. That was before the repave, though. So I think everybody hasn't really raced there competitively on the new version of Iowa, other than the drivers in real life, of course. So I don't really know what to expect, and if I like the way Iowa races going forward. But historically, it's been a pretty decent track for me. Tire management on ovals has been a lot better than on road courses. So hopefully we can be strong there as a team. But for myself personally, just going to try to stay in touch with Johan, because I know he's going to improve on the ovals the rest of the season. So yeah, we'll see what we can do there. But yeah, in terms of Iowa, I really don't know.
Well, that's interesting. Anyone you want to shout out for this third place you got?
Yeah, Joanna Liam for doing the setup work. Was, like I said, it was a nice development to discover that we apparently had an alien setup at our disposal. So yeah, I want to thank those guys, Liam and John, for being on the team comms. You guys for the broadcast, and got to thank Laverne's Incorporated as well. Finally said Gary's name right, Laverne instead of Laverne. So lavernesinc.com for renovation stuff in the Colorado area. So check that out. And also, please consider donating on alz.org. And if you would like to get more information on the Alzheimer's disease and other dementia, you can also go to alz.org and read more about it. So yeah, I want to thank all those people with Dan Enge being involved there. So that's it.
All right. Great to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Danny Bouchard, that was Julian Altena coming up home number 3 this afternoon. And, well, again, like you say, it's a trip to Iowa next and should be a good one.
Yeah, should be a really good one. First time we've seen the new scan of Iowa, or it might just be the same scan. Who knows, but with a different texture. I think it's a new scan, though. So first time with that in these cars, that's going to be interesting. It might be the first race in that scan overall, because I don't think they've run officials there yet.
Well, before we get to all of that, there's still plenty of action yet to come here on Green Flag TV. When we go racing next, it is going to be actually this very night. PSR Sim Game Expo Truck Series is out for the Great Pride Ride 100 at the Daytona International Speedway. That is followed on up by the Average Joe's Sim Racing League for round number 7 at the Dover Motor Speedway on Thursday. Followed on Saturday by a 4-hour endurance race with the FTR Events GT Super Cup at Silverstone. As well as that, on Saturday is the SRA NASA Classic Series from the Glen, along with the Freedom 100 shared race at Talladega on Sunday. And from there, it is more racing for the High Tide Racing League when they go racing once again on Monday night, with OMSRL finally making their return with the Sim Racer Hub Gold Series on Tuesday. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. As always, my name is Ola Rempel alongside Danny Bouchard. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you when we go racing in 2 weeks in Iowa.